Star Wars Revenge of the Sith is many fans' favorite Star Wars prequel. It raked in over $800 million at the box office and holds a 7.6 on IMDb. This year, Revenge of the Sith celebrates its 20th anniversary, and in honor of its anniversary, here are 20 things you didn't know about Revenge of the Sith. But before I get started, remember to like and subscribe. We all remember that epic lightsaber duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan, but there is something that happens during that fight that many people miss. During the part where Anakin is choking Obi-Wan, for a brief moment, you can see that Obi-Wan is holding onto the wrong lightsaber. It should be his own lightsaber, not Anakin's. No Star Wars movie is complete without a chaotic space battle. A funny little fact about the opening space battle is that both Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor had to stick their feet out of the front window of their starfighters to keep their knees out of the shot. With how much is going on in that scene, most people would never even notice it. There are a couple neat cameos in this movie many people don't know about. 3 members of the Lucas family make an appearance in the movie. George Lucas plays a baron and his daughter Katie plays a senator during the opera scene. You can see them off to the left as Anakin is entering the theater. George's son Jet also shows up in the movie as a Jedi youngling during Order 66, who was able to take out a few clones before being shot. Everybody loves Wookiees. By utilizing sub-technology, this movie was able to save costs on costumes and make the Wookiee forces something to behold. There are only a handful of people in Wookiee outfits. The rest of the Wookiees were replicated using CGI. A pretty smart move if you ask me. CGI was utilized far more than people realize. Not only was it used to replicate Wookiees, but all of the clones in the movie were CGI. That's right, not one clone in the movie is being played by a real person. That may be hard to believe, but it is true. CGI was really at its peak during this time in movie history. There's a funny special effects moment in the movie that people miss. During the space scene fight in the beginning of the movie, you see starships being blown up and debris going everywhere. One of the pieces of debris is a kitchen sink. This was an inside joke between the special effects department, saying they are throwing everything into this movie, even the kitchen sink. The battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan has gone down in Star Wars history as the greatest lightsaber fight of all time, and for good reason. Hayden and Ewan practiced extensively for 2 months, 6 hours a day, to nail every aspect of this epic fight. The speed that they were fighting at was the real speed. Nothing was digitally sped up. The main overarching theme of this movie is the balance of light and dark, and there is one scene in the movie that shows this perfectly. Obi-Wan is about to leave to go confront General Grievous and says farewell to Anakin. If you look at the positions of both characters, Obi-Wan is in the light, while Anakin is in the dark. The next time these two meet, Anakin is completely turned to the dark side. Talk about foreshadowing. Hayden Christensen put the work in for this movie to get ready to play Anakin, putting on an additional 30 to 40 pounds of muscle. George Lucas purposely made the Vader suit top-heavy for a couple of reasons. One, the suit was made to fit Christensen, and Lucas didn't want Hayden to look too accustomed to it. Secondly, the weight helped with the awkwardness of Anakin adjusting to his new life as a cyborg. This movie almost featured a very familiar and beloved character, Han Solo. In early drafts of the movie, Han Solo was going to appear on Kashyyyk, being raised by Chewbacca. Han would have had a key contribution to the plot, seeing that he was going to discover a droid transmitting signals from Utapau, pointing the Jedi in the direction of General Grievous, but George Lucas eventually scrapped that idea. General Grievous was a character one would not soon forget, a cyborg with multiple lightsaber-wielding arms, a raspy voice, and deep, penetrating eyes. But here's a cool fact about him. He coughs frequently throughout the movie, and those coughs are done by none other than George Lucas. George Lucas had bronchitis during the production, and sound editor Matthew Wood recorded and digitally altered George's coughs and used them as a trademark for General Grievous. The planet Mustafar is, in my opinion, one of the coolest planets in Star Wars. According to George Lucas, Mustafar is supposed to represent hell, a place of fire and torment. To help with this look, real shots of the volcano eruption of Mount Etna in Sicily, Italy was integrated into this scene. And one last neat detail, the word Mustafar was loosely taken from the Arabic word Mustafa, which means chosen, correlating to Anakin being the chosen one. Ewan McGregor put a considerable amount of effort into perfecting his role as Obi-Wan in this movie. Ewan spent a lot of time watching videos of a young Alec Guinness, who played Obi-Wan in the originals, to help him portray every aspect of Obi-Wan as best as he could. George's early production visions for Revenge of the Sith almost made this a completely different movie. Revenge of the Sith has a runtime of 2 hours, 20 minutes, which is substantial, but originally was going to run for 4 hours. Certain scenes were going to be extended, especially the rescue scene of Palpatine, which was going to be over an hour long. Also, certain characters were going to have longer scenes and more important roles, but these ideas were cut. Chief Palpatine is the ultimate man behind the curtain, moving the pieces of the political chessboard as he sees fit. A unique fact about him is that he utilizes real political strategy. It's a multifaceted strategy using fear, manipulation, and exploitation to gain power and control. This move is very similar to how Adolf Hitler gained power in 1930s Germany through the Weimar Republic's Enabling Act. Revenge of the Sith set the bar as a super solid Star Wars installation, and by doing so made it the first Star Wars movie to receive a PG-13 rating. This movie doesn't hold back on the violence and maturity. The main reason for this rating is the grotesque scene of Anakin being completely burned by lava. Can't disagree with the MPAA on that one. Revenge of the Sith, by many people's standards, is a masterpiece, so it's incredibly surprising that this movie not only didn't win any Academy Awards, but broke an Oscar streak. It is the only Star Wars movie to not be nominated for an Oscar for Best Visual Effects. Pretty disappointing. George Lucas had a pretty good handle on the movie's overall look and feel, but sometimes even the best directors need some assistance. George brought in his friend Steven Spielberg to help out with a few specific movie sequences. Spielberg helped out with 2 major scenes, the Order 66 scene and the Mustafar battle. Believe it or not, Spielberg was the one who came up with the high ground idea. Anakin Skywalker is a character that people will be talking about for years to come. His meteoric rise and fall is nothing short of tragic and heartbreaking. He is a multi-layered character, often at war with himself. There is a study published in Psychiatry Research claiming that Anakin showed possible signs of borderline personality disorder. According to the study, he exhibited 6 of the 9 criteria for someone with this disorder. Of course, being a fictional character, this is all speculative, but goes to show the flaws Anakin had in a deeper sense. And finally, we must discuss the high ground, which is still an extremely popular Star Wars topic today. In the Mythbusters Star Wars themed episode, The Myth Strikes Back, Jamie and Adam wanted to see if the high ground really would have helped Obi-Wan win against Anakin, and their findings showed that the high ground wasn't as useful as it looks in the movie. Adam and Jamie asked multiple sword fighters about the high ground, and none of them had any solid reasoning or referred to a tactic where the high ground would be better. It's still a neat concept. Well, there it is. 20 facts about the Revenge of the Sith you didn't know. I hope you learned something new. Remember to like and subscribe. May the Force be with you. Always.